Hello. How are you, love? That sound like, oh boy. Hey, boo. Hi, love. I think that's the cutest shit ever. Yeah, I'm chilling. Like, y'all can have all the fireworks. Y'all can, I let that leave it to the children. I be right here, minding my business. Um, won't be here too long because you never know. There's always some sort of interruption around this motherfucker. So, I had something I wanted to say because it's Independence Day, 4th of July. America, the home of the brave and whatnot and whatever. And they say the slaves wasn't free on July 4th, so black people really shouldn't celebrate the 4th of July. However, I'm free, and most black people ain't gonna turn down a hamburger or some ribs off the grill. So however you choose to celebrate or not, that's your business. But something came to mind to me the other day, well, within the last day or so, right? Because I've been on my own, like, spiritual healing, really doing some soul searching as far as my own personal well-being and my next step forward in my life and how I really want to represent myself and show up in the world. And kind of where like I fell short, not necessarily in a bad way, but just sometimes you can stifle your own growth, and it has nothing to do with people outside of you. It's more so about your traumas, your insecurities, the failures, the things that didn't work out. And so then you say, well, maybe that's just not for me, or maybe I shouldn't do that. Or when things get tough, then it requires more of you than it has ever required before. Because that's what I keep realizing is like the more life goes on, it's going to require more of us all. We're all going to have to grow, or you're not going to be here. Like, that's what I feel like is happening. Like, we're all going to have to grow up. We're all going to have to get our shit together. We're all going to have to, like, life is going to whoop your ass until you get it together. And if you don't get it together, you're not going to be here. That's what I feel like life is saying now. Like, there's too much going on. There's too much tension. There's too much drama and confusion. And none of us is going to fucking make it if people don't start getting their shit together. So I just want to be on the right side of things. And there's 2 points that I want to make while I do this video. I remember I was writing in my journal, and I realized that I kept saying, like, I just want my freedom. I just want freedom from the past, freedom from, lack, scarcity, anything that prevents me from being the best and the highest version of myself. I want freedom from bondage. I want freedom from, generational curses. I want freedom from just any form of lack, poverty, homelessness, familial ties, any form of like relationships that are built on lies and confusion and lust and trauma. Like, I don't want to deal with that shit no more. I will not make excuses for it. I will not overlook it. I will not act like it didn't happen. I'm just going to quietly exit stage left. I'm going to block, delete, deny, and move on. Like, I'm not going to explain anything. I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm not going to try to figure out what you meant and what you was trying to say. I'm not going to try to figure out if you was having a bad day today. Like, no. Like, when people step to me, they need to know who I am. And you need to know that you can't play over here. Like, to deal with Candice means you got to be grown. You got to put your big boy, big girl pants on. You got to have your shit together. You got to tell the truth. You got to be honest. You got to be transparent. You need to have a goal. You need to be working towards something. You need to be trying to grow. You need to be trying to better yourself. Because if not, you're always going to be here with your feelings hurt. You're always going to be around me with your feelings hurt because you're going to be thinking like, oh, she's trying to outdo me. Or if I go and if I can't share my good news with you, then you're not my people. If I don't feel safe with you, then you're not my people. If I can't be honest about who I am and what I need, then you're not my people. And I need people around me that are solid, man, that do not fold, that do not buckle under pressure, that do not lie and scheme and cheat and do fuck shit to get ahead. I cannot have that. I will not spend another day pretending or lying to myself like that shit is okay, because it's not. It's not. I just, I think it was a point in time in my life, how you'll try to separate yourself and say, like, you are a corporate chick and you live your life and you work in human resources and you are climbing the corporate ladder. You've went to school, you've done all the things, i.e. me, right? And then you got a homegirl in your mind, and say if she an exotic dancer, that's your homegirl. You done known her from around the way. You don't look at her no different. Like, that's her. That's how she live her life. That's who she is. But that's still my girl, right? And you maintain these relationships out of somewhat of obligation, these fake familial bonds that we put on ourselves, like for our hoods and for our friends and stuff. These fake obligations, and we put these things on ourselves, and we tie ourselves to people that are not good for us, that more than likely may not grow out of their current circumstance or situation. And there's nothing bad against her, or, there's nothing against, I'm not talking about those specific type of women. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we all have a path. And then eventually we got to go our different ways. It doesn't make either person better than the other. It just means that we're probably not going to align, because as you continue to grow spiritually, you're climbing Jacob's ladder, right? The higher you get off the ground, the further you get to heaven is the further you're away from the ground. You're not grounded, and so the closer you get to God, the less the people say you need to be down to earth. It's hard to do that when you're trying to get to God, because you're ascending. So a lot of times you don't relate to people. Then people just start to fall away. That's just the way it goes when you go through a spiritual awakening. That's just how it is. Like, we don't know. It's just a no. We don't connect anymore. We don't have a bond, and that's just the way it is. So I say that when I was speaking about freedom, like, I realized that I can't take those chances anymore with people. I can't give people the benefit of the doubt. I can't look over things anymore. I can't act like that didn't happen, because it's self-betrayal at this point. You're lying to yourself when you know, like, hey, that person isn't good for you. Hey, they meant what they said. They said what they said. They did what they did. Don't look over it. Don't glaze over it. Don't try to, because we do this kumbaya shit. That's what I've noticed after going through this biblical studies training, that it is. I heard a girl say on YouTube, she was like, the type of grace that Christians talk about, God don't even have that much grace for us. Like, do you think that the type of stuff that people have done to us, God really has that much grace for that person? That you're just supposed to keep accepting people's foolishness in your life? That you're just supposed to keep on keeping on? It is a constant cycle of abuse to allow yourself to be mistreated and then ask God why. It is unreal. It is absolutely unreal for you to not take accountability for your current circumstance. Not doing personal inventory. Not asking the right questions. And I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a job, if it's an apartment you about to move into, if it's a romantic partner, if it's a neighbor, if it's a group that you want to join, honey. You have to ask questions. You have to do your due diligence. It's too much going on in the world for you to hope that people do the right thing. That's just the way it is. And so people can judge me all they want. They can say whatever they want to say, honey. I've already, like I say, when you've lost it all, there's not much a person can really say about you or to you that can really hurt your feelings. Like, when you have gone through the things that I've experienced, it's just kind of like, oh, that again? Like, okay. I don't really know what else to do. So, when I've been journaling, I started to correlate the two. Like, when I said, like, favor isn't fair and freedom isn't free. And so a lot of times, some people, as I said in other videos, some people have privilege in this life. Some people have different accesses. Like, some people that like were born into money. Some people that were born into poverty, but then eventually become wealthy. Like, we all have a path to walk. Like, it is different for us all. And what I realized is that freedom isn't free. See, our ancestors died for us to have freedom now, but look at the type of shit that they had to go through just to get the Civil Rights Act. And now it's gone. but originally, once the Civil Rights Act was put into place, and all the different, things, the affirmative actions, Roe versus Wade, all of those type of things that took place, all of those things that happened, that was for us. And it made me think about this guy that I worked with. I think his name was Chad, and I used to be a bartender back in the day. And we had started at this restaurant. It was brand new, and I remember we were, setting up the bar, and we was doing all the work and working out all the kinks. And I was just like, man, like, things are never gonna get better. He was like, Candice, it's not for us, it's for the people to come after us. And I just was like, I never thought, but he's like, we're not gonna be here like for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Like, we're the first set of people that are working here now. But I mean, you eventually, especially in the service industry, you move on. And plus it was new, it wasn't established, so it wasn't a whole lot of money, or it was only money at certain times. So it was, it fluctuates when you're new. And when people know they can make money elsewhere, they move on. And I guess ever since he said that, I had to think about, like, a lot of us are like pioneers. Like, we lay the groundwork. We are the people that lay the foundation to create the change. And sometimes when you're in it and you're building, you don't necessarily see, you don't have the aerial view. See, that's God. God has the aerial view of everything. But when you're boots on the ground and you're actually building and creating, sometimes you can't always see the finished product. You just know that the work is heavy, that the responsibility is great. And so sometimes you can't always get lost in the task of what you're doing or what you're trying to do, because it can be daunting at sometimes. That's why they say, like, do not become weary in doing good things. And so when I thought about freedom now that we are, technically free here in America, I was like, freedom, to desire freedom, it costs you everything. It costs your friends, it costs your family, it costs you your job, it costs you everything, because to desire freedom, which means free that I don't want to work for anybody else, free that I want to set my own schedule, I want to vacation as much as possible, I want to spend most 80% of my time. I like, my goal for freedom is 80% of my income is passive income. I don't want to have to be tied to nothing. I don't want to have to get up and maintain followers. I don't want to have to go live. I don't want to have to be anywhere, do constant speaking engagements just to keep myself relevant. I don't want to do none of that. I want my shit to just be there and be building and growing and doing its thing. And 80% of my income is that. The other 20 is probably um other type of investments, things that I choose to, project based type things. I want most of my time to be committed to my spiritual growth and development. I don't want to be tied to nobody. I don't. That's where I'm at in my life. I don't want to feel like I have to be anywhere. I don't want to feel pressured to stay up on trends. I don't want to have to feel like I need to compete with anybody. I don't want to be a part of the rat race. I don't feel like trying to follow up and brown nose with people. I'm not trying to climb the corporate ladder. Like, no. No. I don't care. I don't want to force myself to be friends with people that I don't like, that don't like me. I don't want to try to join groups with people that may be involved in shit that I don't need to be involved in, that don't have the same morals and values that I do. Like, these are the type of things that you are forced, whether in school, whether in work, you are forced to engage, to be liked, to be all of these things, and then you wonder why people end up having mental health issues because you're forced. This is why people mask. This is why people end up having mental health, because they have to put on a show when they would rather be doing other things. But this is what we have to do to pay the bills. This is what we, and I don't live that way. I have no desire to live that way. And I don't have any shame in saying that. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that freedom. The freedom to be myself. The freedom to wear what I want to wear without apologies. The freedom to tell the truth. Like, I don't want to be bound by anything or anybody. I don't mind living a small, soft life. A small little cottage somewhere, minding my business, honey, writing books and, volunteering, giving back to the children. I don't care nothing about this. Y'all want to be out there and be seen and like, honey, that is no, because I know that this world is dying. I know that this is all a facade, that all of this shit could crumble tomorrow, and you have given your whole life for a system that is dying. And so that's why I don't care when people talk about me or my clothes or my shoes or what I have or what I don't have, because the world is fucking ending, bitch. And that ain't gonna save you. You worried about shit that don't really matter. Is your spirit right? Can you stand before God today, motherfucker? If he call your number today, bitch, can you stand before him? That's what you need to be worried about. What you worried about if I'm working or what I have or where I live or what I got or what I don't got? Can you stand before God today? Ask yourself that every time you want to worry about Candice or what Candice doing, what she got and where she live. Ask yourself, can you stand before God today and tell the truth? Can you even look yourself in the mirror, girl, a boy, whoever? Why you sitting here worried about my videos and copying my content, honey? What can you really? Because what I'm seeing is that a lot of these people and that's another thing that's about to go. It's like spirituality. Like, this is why I see why a lot of people are just exiting stage left, because it's not really a community. It's not like tarot and spirituality is like $1 billion business. There are so many informants and people that would just get online and say anything. It is sad. It is sad the way people use God and spirituality. Like, y'all are crazy. Like, even since I was a young child, I knew don't ever, ever, ever play with spirits, whether negative or positive. You don't play with them people. Don't be calling on nobody. You don't do that. You don't do that. I just don't. No. It's a no for me. And so because of that, because of the freedom that I desire, I feel like I have broken out of the reality. I guess AKA the Matrix. Like, and that's why I have a hard time relating. That's why I have a hard time having friends, because it's just like, this shit is slavery. This shit is slavery. Like, you are enslaved and entrapped to be somebody, to tap dance, to shuck and jive, to pretend, to lie. You gotta see shit that that this place is corrupt, but you gotta turn the other cheek because you got bills to pay. Like, I know. I can't be friends with people that engage in nefarious activities and act like I don't know. Like, no. I can't connect myself with people that just are not upstanding individuals. They don't live right. They don't take care of their children. They don't mean well for their community. They don't have anything to offer the world. Like, what are you doing? Who are you going to be remembered by? Like, what are you doing? And then people want to judge me because I have bigger dreams than just having a Birkin and a 40-inch bust down. Like, y'all. And don't get me wrong, all of those things are nice within their own right, but the more I just grow spiritually, it's just I just, like, literally, I went to go eat and I threw that shit away. Like, I'm just like, I can't eat this shit. I'm so over so much stuff. Like, I just can't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I need my freedom to choose whatever makes me happy. And that is what I want more than anything, I think, because I did grow up in an extremely religious household, because I have been in abusive situations where people have tried to control me, and where people have tried to tell my story and tell people who I am and what I have and what I do. And it's like, nah, bitch, you can't tell my story. You can't tell nobody who I am. No. Because most of the people that talk shit about me have not even had contact with me in years. The people that talk shit about me the most have not spoken to me in years. They don't even have my fucking number. They don't know where I'm at. They don't know what I'm doing. They don't know anything. And that's the gag. Hoes got so much to say about Candice, but they don't really know what's going on. It's all assumptions. It's all lies. It projections, truth be told. It's projections. That it's like, oh well, ain't nothing wrong with me. Shit, I feel sorry for you motherfuckers. They, like, truth be told, like, I really be like, you think something is wrong with me and I feel sorry for you. Like, that you still, like, you still talking about that, you still doing that, like, okay. And so that's the thing. Like, when you ask God for certain stuff, you better be ready. When you ask God for $1 million, do you have security? Did you think you was gonna be able to keep your same friends with millions of dollars? Did you think you was still gonna be able to live in that same neighborhood, like in your hometown? Did you really think you were gonna be able to do that if you had millions of dollars? You never thought those people would turn on you. You never thought your parents would sell you out for money. You never thought none of that. But see, that's what you asked for. You asked, I want to be wealthy. I remember back in 2020 when all that, I remember when I was like praying to God, and I was like, man, this is how much I wanted. These are my streams of income. And I was just writing. And that was, but I never considered all the other stuff that come with being wealthy and the responsibility of having wealth. Because being wealthy means you have a very boring life. Truth be told. You can't just be out everywhere. You can't be friends with everybody. You can't tell people your business. You can't just be at the cookout like that. That's why most wealthy people only hang with other wealthy people. They have their little dinners at the house. They bring in private chefs. They go to villas and chateaus and shit. They do their little soirees and whatnot. They go to their galas, they charity events, and they go on back to the house. because you can't afford to be mixing and mingling with people that don't have what you have. And I mean that on a spiritual level. You may not have no money, but be spiritually balling. Like right now, spiritually balling. You may not have no money in the bank, but people can't supersede you spiritually though. And trust and believe, honey, the money is going to manifest. But you have to have your mind and spirit right in order to keep it. And that's why a lot of us go through spiritual development for long periods of time. Because in order for God to truly bless you, you cannot be around certain people. It is almost as if like God got to get you out of certain situations, places, and things around you in order for you to be on safe ground to even have it. Like it's that serious. Like people cannot have anything anymore without people coveting what they have. I always say, like, people talk shit about Beyonce and be like, like, she's a witch. I'm like, nigga, let me tell you something. Being a person who understands both spirituality and religion, let me tell you something. That lady is a billionaire. I know the type of spiritual work people have done to me as a hundredaire, okay? As a person with it, not much. Could you imagine the type of attacks, spiritual attacks that lady and her children are going through as a billionaire? And y'all be sitting there tripping because you don't understand the power of wealth and what that is, and to be black and have that kind of freedom. Because what I heard today was the real wealth is freedom. The freedom, like I'm saying, to be who you are, to do what you want, to live where you want to live, to hop on a plane at any given time with no bags, to leave and never come back, to not have to answer to nobody, to not have to call, not to clock in, not to check in, not to look back. I don't owe nobody nothing. All of my accounts is clear. That is the real freedom. And when you are black in America and you got that kind of freedom, you telling me you ain't under spiritual attack? You telling me you ain't going through trials and tribulations just because you wealthy? You're right. You telling me you ain't got to do spiritual protection and reading your word and praying to God and doing your meditations and protecting your home? You telling me you think she ain't got to do that? You crazy. Y'all are crazy. Y'all don't know anything. That's what I'm saying. Like the type of things I hear people say, they're not. This is why I'm quiet all the time, because I'm like, people are dumb to me. This generation, like, they're super tech savvy. Yeah, y'all know AI, y'all know Bitcoin and all this stuff, but y'all don't have critical thinking skills. Y'all don't know how to read. Y'all skim through shit, and you don't have cognitive development. You don't. So that's why when people try to step to me, I'm like, man, you don't really want this, man, because intellectually you can't really fuck with me. Yeah, you may have better clothes, or maybe you even live somewhere better. You got a car, you got all of that stuff, but spiritually, intellectually, honey, you can't really fuck with me, man. You can't. Because while you're wasting your life trying to be seen, honey, I'm trying to do everything I can to get the fuck off of Earth and not come back. Like, this is, you're not supposed to be tethered to Earth. This is the lowest form of it. Like, the human experience is the lowest form of existence. You didn't know that? It's just the me suit. Like, you're supposed to be ascending so you can elevate spiritually. You're supposed to be spiritually free so you're not bonded to this life. Y'all want to stay here so y'all can tootsie roll and be seen and shit, but child, I mean, I guess, child. So ask yourself, what do you want, honey? Because freedom isn't free. And so you got to be prepared. What are you willing to lose? What are you willing to give up? Because, I mean, being from my own experience, like, I never thought it would be that much. And now it's quiet. Like, ain't nothing popping, nothing going on. You got peace. So a person is used to like not even just drama and chaos, but just being busy. Like you gotta go to work, you gotta pick up the kids, you gotta, you. And now it's just you. It's quiet. You don't have to be out. You don't have to be seen. You pop out when you want to. You enjoy relaxing and reading and listening to soul jazz. I don't need all of those things anymore. It don't add no value to my life. I don't want to waste money. I don't after going through homelessness, like I will never play with money in my life ever again. Like I will never like frivolously spend. Like I'll never do that shit again. And so I would suggest or advise anybody within the sound of my voice that take care of yourself. Your greatest asset is your health. It is like between your freedom and your health. That is, I mean, that's it. And I think we get so caught up in like the cycles of life and like gaining and achieving and having that, excuse me, we never stop to smell the roses. We never just pause and be like, I don't always have to be moving. I don't always have to be somewhere. And that doesn't change my worth and value. Like people be like you ain't got no job. It's like, okay. Okay. That don't mean you can't get money just because you don't have a job. So you always got to consider the source when people say certain things to you and about you. You always have to consider the source. I know that I'm growing and I'm evolving as an individual. So my mind and things that I'm interested in is really, really changing. So a lot of stuff just doesn't really faze me anymore. A lot of things that people say, because it's like I'm truly ready to go ahead and start pursuing my doctorate degree. And I know that is going to require a different level of focus and concentration. It is going to require me to, like, as I said, put my big girl pants on and really understand, like, the responsibility that God has given me. And so that means a lot of shit got to go. Like, if I'm going to have a doctor, but, before my name, like, I have to, I really believe in living your raps. And I'm not just going to pretend to be somebody that I'm not. Like, I really got to live this shit. Like, I was listening to this video the other day, and it was just like, it's not about, like, thinking positive. It's more about actually embodying it. Like, instead of, like, trying to find peace, you have to be the peace. Regardless of what is happening around you, you have to embody what you desire. It's less about thinking about it as a concept, but it's more about transforming into that. Because the word is going to be the word. It's always going to be what it is. So it's enlightenment is a motherfucker. And I wish that I could share more with people, but I was thinking when I was on my way back here the other day, I was just like, it's gonna sound bad, but I was thinking the song like, "Don't save her, she don't want to be saved. Don't save her." And I know that sounds bad, but if Jesus couldn't save a lot of people, like, you can't try to do it either. Like, people have to want better. People have to really like even for me, like, I had to be hungry and have a desire, like army crawls, hand over fist, like I'm getting to the glory, like I'm getting there. I want my freedom, god damn it, yes. Like, I'm not playing with you. Move out my way. I'll throw away it all. I'll burn this bitch down. I don't care. And you gotta have such a radical mind. And I think people are so comfortable. and they're so attached to their life, and they so scared because what if I lose friends, and what if people don't love me no more, and what if I lose my job, and then what's gonna happen with my kids? And well, yeah, I know it sucks, but I also know that on the other side of walking through that door is a freedom and a liberation that there's not a money could never replace or buy or even equate to. And as I always say, short-term sacrifice for long-term paradise. And all of those things that I named is everything that I went through. Friends, family, places, cars, career, everything. But it also lets you know that it's time to rebuild. It's time to, build your house out of bricks and not sticks. Because usually the foundation that we have were never meant to last anyway. So I'm very grateful to be where I am spiritually, and I hope to enlighten people who truly want to be enlightened, not people that just like. I think that's what I struggle with, is that a lot of people just want to complain about their life. They don't really want to change. They want to come and vent to you, and they want to tell you about all the things that went wrong. They want to talk bad. They want to be messy. They want to gossip, but they don't want to actively change their life. They want to say like, "Oh, what was me? I have this or I have that, and this is what happened." And I just, for every problem there is a solution. So if you present me with a problem, you better have a solution with it, or I'm not talking to you. If you be like, "Oh, my back is hurt," I'm like, "Well, did you go to the chiropractor? Did you put a heat? Did you get a heating pad? Did you take a hot bath? What? You take some Advil? What'd you do? Did you?" Because every time I talk to you, I don't want to hear about your back hurting. I need solutions. I want you to be solution based, and I want to be the same thing for you. Like I don't feel like I'm asking people of anything that I'm not willing to give. But I'm not willing to like drown my ship for the sake of having friends or having people in my life. I'm not doing it. And I realize like how far gone I am. Like I just kind of look around. I just be like, damn, it's sad. Like it is sad. I just have never. People are really lost. And me, I'm like the one that like I'm not judging you for being lost. Like I want to help you, but I had to realize like God is like, that's not your job. You can't. People have to walk their own path. People have to find their own way. It's just not your job to do that. You have to embody it. Like I said, you have to be the change. You have to create the change. And then people will follow. People follow change behavior. It's not about what you tell them. It's about what you do. So when people see the changes in your life, then they will follow. They're like, man, did you see so-and-so? She lost 20 pounds. She went vegan. She started exercising 3-4 times a week. Like, man, you see her now? Like, that is when people keep, because they seeing is believing. Not a lot of people have faith in God without seeing his works. It's unfortunate, but very few actually maintain their faith without seeing, in some capacity, God show up in their life or someone that they know. So I'm going to leave this there. I hope that you find freedom in some type of capacity, even if it's a little bit of freedom at a time. Ask yourself today, how can I create more freedom in my life? The freedom to choose, the freedom to say no, the freedom to say yes, the freedom to travel, the freedom to date or marry who you want to or not at all, the freedom to have kids or not, the freedom to pack all your shit and move to another country, the freedom to confront anybody that has mistreated you or abused you, the freedom to press charges, the freedom to get you a lawyer, the freedom to tell the truth, the freedom to stand up for yourself, the freedom to be your own advocate, your own cheerleader, your own support system. So today, I really hope that you find your freedom, whatever that is, the freedom to speak up, the freedom to tell the truth. I hope that this information has been useful to you. I hope that you continue to have a great rest of the day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time.